let's just say and you can see there's quite a lot of volume coming in here at these prices, and that's what we want to see. Let's just say the impulse has begun. Yeah, let's just assume that it's begun. It kind of takes me back to the original idea that I had, which is this inverse head and shoulders. Okay, and I think for a market structure change, we just need to take out that high. It's really important. Oops, did that wrong. So from the pivot low to there, I'll just take it to the pivot low there, even though I could probably pull it a little bit higher. You can see that the 1-to-1 of this move takes us to that pivot high, just a shade underneath it. That's what I want to see. If you take out that high on the weekly time frame, that's a higher high confirmed. So you have two higher highs in a row with a higher low. So what actually ends up happening is that's your high, that's your first higher high. This is your, oops, shit, incorrect. That's your lower low, i.e. the all-time low. All-time low goes to a higher high. Why is that a higher high? Because this was a lower high, this one here. That's your first higher high. This is now at the moment potentially a higher low, okay? And the only way that you know if this is a higher low is if the price can take out that pivot to put in a higher high. And so really all eyes are on this now, right now. That would be on TRVL from the current price, an increase in value of 55%, okay? My eyes are fully locked on whether we can put in a higher high here, yeah? If we put in a higher high here, we've changed market structure on a weekly time frame basis, a weekly time. That means then you'll be expecting higher lows, higher highs, all the way until the market structure changes back to bearish. That could take months, okay? And so that kind of could give up. And so then we have to see how we break this high, because there's two ways to break this high. You can break it by just smashing through, or you can break it by just taking the liquidity and pulling back. There's two ways to break it. No one knows how we're gonna I do expect that we are going to break it. I am expecting that, but I don't know how we're going to break it. I don't know the volume. We have to look at the volume and see how that's going to happen, and how that's going to reflect on the price action. But let's just kind of hypothetically go through the both options. One option would be here, like you go up, you find resistance here, consolidate a bit more, and then you have a final push for a break. You take the high. So you have your little five, you have your 5 waves finished here. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. And then you're looking for a corrective and you're finding support. And we don't know how far this can pull back, but then you are looking at what I was talking about, which was more like an inverse head and shoulders type pattern. And then we have to, if we do form a right shoulder like here, then we could have a breakout to the upside. And that would be a really nice push up in back into the range, which would be really bullish, targeting about 3.5 cents. But the other bullish, kind of real bullish scenario here, more of a bullish scenario here, would be actually a double bottom, just a straightforward double bottom with a clean neckline there, okay? And just ignore that left shoulder. So not an inverse head and shoulders, a double bottom. And so if you just go up and you just break it, like literally break it, then you could kind of come back for a neckline test and then smash through for a double bottom. And the neckline test doesn't actually have to come back to the neckline. It just has to come back to some back test, some kind of level to find support before it continues. And so you're looking at a possible double bottom situation or scenario here. And I'd like to see if we do get a smash through, then probably the target for that will be the previous all-time low, which at the moment with this fib extension is the 1-to-2, the 1-to-2 of this fib extension. So the 1-to-1 would take us to this pivot high, the 1-to-2 would take us to the previous all-time low, okay, and the 1-to-3 would take us to the value area high of this new volume range or value area that we've created. So for me, those are in the current context of where we're at now, those are the 3 kind of key areas the 1-to-1, the 1-to-2, and the 1-to-3. And volume will be the biggest indicator of what happens next. See how right now we're seeing really bullish volume, so I do expect this to break up. I don't know if we're going to form an inverse head and shoulders or just a straightforward double bottom. Whatever happens, we'd like to see a little back test. That would be nice. And it's always nice to see a back test, and in this context probably a back test off the breakout off the neckline would be the best place. If we get a little back test here and then we have a continuation move, you'd have to see volume, and then we have to get back into the range. I think it's likely that we just get back above 2 cents quite easy. I think it's likely we just rally through to 3 cents, or the 1-to-3. And again, that's the 1-to-3. And again, if I correspond that with what I was talking to you guys before earlier, which was the golden pocket, then you have a really strong area for resistance. Yeah. And so what I would like to see next, if possible, is a breakout to the upside targeting 3 cents, 3.2 cents. That's kind of what I'm thinking next. I don't necessarily think we're going to go straight through. You never know, huh? No one really knows. I don't necessarily think we're going to go straight through like that. I think it's more likely that you get resistance, and then if you get volume to take us up, then you're looking for a back test to go up. So people will take profit into there and the price still goes up, and then actually those people who took profit will be looking to get right back in when they find support after a bit of a consolidation. Or you get a rejection and the price comes down, and then the people who took their profit will be looking to kind of buy back in, roughly starting at about 2 cents. Probably that would be the beginning of where they look to take profit. So look to reaccumulate. The first fib was 236. And the 618 actually is shade under 3 cents. So we'd have to see how strong the push is. But ideally you want it to go to the value area high, which is a shade above, which is at 3.2 cents. But we have to see how that plays out. Whatever happens, the first fib will be back at the previous all-time low. But I think that would be quite nice. It would be quite nice if we can do this with a corrective move all the way back to the all-time low and find support there for some real strong volume and accumulation. And this whole structure here is just a deviation from the lower part of the range. Then ideally what you want to do then is you just want to put more volume has to come back in here. If you could put volume back in here to hold that low, then we have a chance to go up and then just continue. And then that could be your first wave. You have a corrective move here, ABC, and then you have the first wave, the second wave, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Maybe take out that higher wave 4, and then maybe you just go for a final push for a wave 5 of wave 3, taking out 17.5 cents. Okay, that's kind of how I'm seeing it, but we have to see how this plays out, because obviously we have a major time pivot at the end of December or mid-December, and then we have to see what happens with the rest of crypto at the beginning of next year. Is there going to be another crazy alt season in February, March to create this environment? But whatever happens, if we do get back into the range, you have to hold the range low there. It's really important. If there's not enough liquidity to hold the range low, then you lose it again, then actually this becomes really, really sell. Just lower highs, lower lows, and you're just heading right back down again. And so that's going to be a real tester to see what the sentiment is like, if people do reaccumulate or not. Yeah, and a lot of people might not, and that's the danger. A lot of people might go, this is it, the end of the bull market, no more crypto. We hit December, whatever, wherever we hit, however, whenever we get there. It could be next month, or it could be in December. But let's say I'd rather it be next month. Actually, I'm actually thinking it'd be nice if we can get up to that period, that level of 3 cents by the end of next month, by the end of August. Just in a really get there fast, and then that will give us time to reaccumulate. And that's kind of what we need, a little bit of time to reaccumulate so that we can have a push up for December. So this would actually be more like this. The correction will be slightly different, so let me delete it. then push up. Yeah, I don't know. I like to see that taking us to 17.5. That's kind of the conservative viewpoint right now that I'm looking at. And obviously the most non-conservative would be a combination of high value news items, venture capitalist investments, takeover bids, shit like that, Coinbase listings, Binance listings, and then the whole thing changes if that happens. Yeah, everything changes if we get into a situation where you start getting crazy announcements, news announcements, and this becomes a hot bit of property, hot stuff. Yeah, or a kind of some kind of massive partnership with who knows, like you never know. You never know who out there might be looking at D-Travel, you know, execs from booking.com or whoever, Expedia or whatever, Verbo might be looking at, but D-Travel and going, hey, we want a piece of that pie, we want to invest in the future. And they might be looking at what we're doing and they might be going, yeah, we want to be part of that. And so you just don't know. And this is what I keep on saying, this is a long hold. Yeah, this is a decentralized network that's going to continue growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. Like there's no limits to this. All we can do is take chunks out of every other Web2 centralized business, because people can be on D-Travel and be on all their other platforms too. It's not exclusively mutual, but the benefits of D-Travel are significant. Yeah, and they're going to become even more significant in the future.